Have you ever been so aware of yourself that you forgot how to walk normally? Like you're just walking down the hallway and suddenly your brain goes, wait, how do I walk? Do I swing my arms, both arms alternating? And now you can't walk, you're just standing there. Spiritually enlightened, completely unable to move, welcome. If that just happened to you, or if you nodded during that story a little too hard, then this video is for you. Because today we're talking about the psychology of people who are too aware. The overthinkers, the overfeelers, the ones who notice everything, the ones the universe apparently chose to receive all the information, whether they wanted it or not. Let's start with the science. Because yes, this is a real thing. It has a name. Psychologists call it hyper-awareness, or in fancier terms, heightened metacognition. Metacognition just means thinking about your thinking, your brain watching your brain. Normal people think thoughts. Hyper-aware people think thoughts, then think about those thoughts, then analyze why they're thinking those thoughts, then feel guilty about the analysis, then think about why they feel guilty, and by this point it's 3 a.m. and you haven't slept, and somehow you're questioning whether free will actually exists. Research actually shows that hyper-awareness creates what's called a feedback loop. The more attention you pay to your feelings, the more intense those feelings become, which means the more aware you are, the more there is to be aware of. It's like turning up the volume on a speaker, except the speaker is your entire existence. And nobody gave you a mute button. Now, here's where it gets interesting, because somewhere along the way, hyper-aware people discovered spirituality. And spirituality said, oh, you notice everything? You feel every energy in the room? You see patterns everywhere? Congratulations, you're not broken, you're awakened. And honestly, that was a dangerous thing to tell us, because suddenly every weird experience had a cosmic explanation. You saw the same number 3 times today? Angel numbers. The universe is speaking to you. Your coffee tasted weird this morning? Mercury is in retrograde, obviously. You felt a strange vibe from that stranger at the supermarket? Their 3rd chakra is clearly blocked. And look, I say this with love, because part of this is genuinely beautiful. Studies on highly sensitive people, or HSPs, show that roughly 15 to 20% of the population has a nervous system wired for deeper processing. Their brains literally activate more in areas linked to empathy, awareness, and self-reflection. So the sensitivity, it's real. The biology, it's real. But then the brain takes that real sensitivity and goes completely feral with it. I didn't just feel that person's sadness. I absorbed their ancestral trauma from 3 generations back. So you felt sad because you haven't eaten since noon. The absurdity of it is this. We live in a world that is genuinely overwhelming. Social media, noise, notifications, everything competing for our attention. And hyper-aware people feel all of it. Every signal, every undercurrent, every awkward pause in conversation. So the mind reaches for a framework, any framework, that makes the overwhelm feel meaningful. And spirituality, at its most creative, will always provide one. Now let me introduce you to the 4 archetypes. You will recognize yourself in at least one, possibly all 4, simultaneously. Type 1. The overanalyzer. This person can turn a 2-second glance from a coworker into a 45-minute internal documentary. They looked at me. Why did they look at me? Was it the email I sent? Did they hear what I said at lunch? Are they my soulmate or my nemesis? Both? We've been here before. Past life. Definitely. The overanalyzer doesn't just read the room. They annotate the room. They write footnotes about the room. They publish a peer-reviewed paper about the room. Type 2. The empath who needs a nap. This is the person who walks into a party feeling perfectly fine and leaves 45 minutes later completely exhausted and carrying emotional baggage that isn't even theirs. They absorb vibes like a sponge. Happy vibes, sad vibes, anxious vibes. The weird competitive energy between 2 people they've never even met. Their spiritual diagnosis? I'm an empath. Their actual diagnosis? They haven't set a boundary in approximately 5 to 7 years. Type 3, the existential comedian. This person has thought so deeply about the meaninglessness of existence that they've looped all the way back around to finding everything hilarious. They laugh at things nobody else is laughing at. They make jokes in the middle of serious conversations, not because they don't care, but because they care so much that humor is the only rational response to being a conscious being on a rock hurtling through infinite space. Type 4, the I've been here before person. This is the one who has déjà vu constantly. Every significant moment feels familiar. Every meaningful person feels like a reunion. They have vivid dreams they're convinced are memories. They feel ancient in a body that is clearly 23 years old. Their explanation? Past life. Old soul? Cosmic contract. The psychological explanation? The brain is very, very good at pattern recognition, and sometimes it finds patterns where there are only coincidences. But honestly, who's to say? The universe is enormous. I'm not going to argue with someone's soul contract. Here's the honest truth. Being this aware is exhausting, genuinely, deeply exhausting. When you notice everything, every shift in energy, every micro-expression, every change in someone's tone, your nervous system is working overtime all day, every day. And that kind of constant processing can spiral into anxiety, into indecision, into perfectionism, into standing motionless in a hallway because you suddenly can't remember how to walk. But here's the other truth. That same awareness, it makes you extraordinary. Hyper-aware people are the ones who notice what others miss, who feel what others can't articulate, who create art, build empathy, hold space for others in ways that genuinely change lives. The sensitivity that makes you overwhelmed at a grocery store is the same sensitivity that makes you an incredible friend, a perceptive leader, a creative force. The awareness is not the problem. The problem is the lack of a container for it. Without grounding, without boundaries, without the occasional reminder that not every number sequence is a divine message and not every vibe is your problem to carry, the awareness becomes noise. But with a little grounding, with a little humor about your own cosmic drama, it becomes a superpower. So here's where we land. If you're a hyper-aware person, and I think a lot of you watching this are, I want you to know something. You are not too much. You are not broken. You are not cursed by the universe to feel everything forever without a break. You just have a very powerful nervous system that never got a user manual. And yes, Mercury might actually be in retrograde. And yes, those angel numbers might mean something. Or maybe your brain is just a phenomenal pattern recognition machine running at full capacity on not enough sleep. Either way, the move is the same. Ground yourself, rest, set a boundary with that person whose energy you've been carrying since 2019. Laugh at your own overthinking. And trust that being this aware, as absurd as it sometimes feels, means you are paying attention to a life worth paying attention to. That's not a curse. That's a gift, even if it does occasionally make you forget how to walk. And if this video resonated with you a little too deeply in a way you're now overanalyzing, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, and tell the algorithm that the universe sent you here. See you in the next one.